It's time for another edition of Boy Green Daily, and boy, do we have a juicy rumor to dive into. The New York Jets and Corey Davis had talks about a comeback? Oh, yeah, baby. We've got all the latest. Let's roll. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Paul Esdin Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Let's jump right into it. Huge shout out to Jake Asman, who's live at the NFL Combine. He was doing a interview with Connor Hughes, and I highly recommend you guys check out the full thing. It's 53 minutes of juicy intel. Tweeted out a lot of those individual clips, but the full interview is worth a watch. And one of the most interesting bites that came out of that interview is Connor Hughes of SNY confirmed that the New York Jets and Corey Davis, quote unquote, had talks about an NFL comeback last year. And when you hear the details, it sure sounds like it's possible they could have talks again. Here is the clip again. This is from the Jake Asman show yesterday, live from Indianapolis at the NFL Combine. Jake Asman, Connor Hughes talking about the Corey Davis possibility. Let's roll the footage, baby.
I've heard some rumblings, unconfirmed, so I'm not going to be like Jake Asman's reporting, but I've heard some rumblings Corey Davis could want to come back to the Jets. Is that something that the Jets would be open to? Is there any validity to that from what you heard?
They would take it. If Corey, so I know there was some towards the end of last year that there were some talks back and forth about, hey, would you want to come back? It never progressed to the point where Corey was even working out for the Jets again. Just because it was more like, I think if the Jets made a legitimate run and they were in a position where Aaron Rodgers is coming back, not on December 24th, but that Thursday night game against the Browns, and the Jets are going to make the playoffs, like not like they needed a miracle to get in, like Zach kept them afloat enough, and then Aaron came back and then was like, we're going to make a run. I think there was a decent enough shot that Corey might have come back last year. I do. I think there was a chance he was going to come back with Aaron, finish out the stretch, and go into that year because I think they could have used him. This year, I don't necessarily know. I will say this. I know that there is love for Corey in the building. He's
posting pictures of him working out. He's liking some tweets, and then someone shot me a message being like, "Hey, I've heard he wants to come back." So
he's somebody that is beloved in the building. Aaron loves him. Saleh loves him. His teammate, he was a captain. Like he is beloved. If Corey texted them tomorrow and was like, hey, I want to come back, it would be an open door policy. It would be come on back. They might work out some finances because now he's been out for a whole year, but they will welcome him back with open arms. But that's it. I have not looked into that yet, but I'll make some calls at the end of this actually. But I would not. I have not heard that just because I haven't asked, but that would not surprise me based off of the digging that I did in the middle of last year, and just knowing what they think about Corey when he first retired. They would welcome him back with open arms if that was the case.
Wow. Again, we've heard rumors this offseason. Jake Asman mentioned it there. Some liked tweets. Robert Saleh on the One Jets Drive documentary told the team, he broke it to the team, hey guys, it's about to break out and on social media basically, but Corey Davis is walking away. But even then, Robert Saleh said, it doesn't mean his career is over. So even immediately, Robert Saleh left the door open. We've seen some liked tweets from Corey Davis where he liked that one tweet about Aaron Rodgers and the team bonding event. It was like his first liked tweet. And the last time I checked, the only liked tweet he had this year. Interesting. Sending out photos of him working out and staying in shape. What other reason would he have to be working out? Now, here's the thing. This is where it's no longer rumorville. They had talks back and forth, according to Connor Hughes of SNY. And he said the only reason that they didn't, the Jets basically, and Corey Davis didn't make the comeback is because, well, the Jets were out of the playoffs, and Corey Davis wasn't going to come back for a couple of random games for a non-playoff team, and I don't blame him. That doesn't make any sense. But I say this now, after hearing that Connor Hughes bit, if he was potentially willing to come back for a miracle run with the Jets, why wouldn't he be interested in to come back this year? That's the interesting thing. But let me make this clear for the wide receiver plan for the Jets. If I'm the Jets, I still go get the most dominant, big name number 2 wide receiver I can. And we've all dreamed. Unfortunately, T. Higgins got tagged. A lot of us saw that coming. Whoever that is. Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., whoever that guy is out in the universe. I actually had a dream the other night about a wide receiver. We'll save that for a future episode this week. Maybe we'll get that tomorrow, but I don't know. We have Joe Douglas speaking a little bit later. But I heard a wide receiver name in my brain, and I'm like, maybe. But more on that later. But again, I want the Jets to go get the most powerful number 2 receiver they can. And then if Corey is interested in a potential comeback as a wide receiver 3-4, okay, let's bring him back. They'd have to rework the financials, as you heard there from Connor, but that's possible. Again, I just reiterate, if Corey was willing to come back at the end of last year, why wouldn't he be interested in a potential comeback in 2024? He's a really talented guy. Now, there were a few frustrating things with Corey Davis during his time here with the Jets, obviously. He had some injury issues. It was hard for him to stay healthy. He had some drops. That was an issue, obviously. But this is a guy who just turned 29 in January, and he didn't play football last year, obviously, outside of training camp into August. So, and he knows the scheme. He knows everything about the team. He was with Aaron Rodgers catching touchdown passes in training camp. I mean, all of the pieces are there for a make sense bring him back. The Jets thought they were going to have him last year, then they didn't. So, again, the injuries and drops were a little concerning. But you wonder if with better quarterback play, would high tide rise all boats? An interesting thought. Again, I think you got to park Allen Lazard at wide receiver 4. You have all the UDFA guys at 5 and 6, Brownlee, Gibson. But you need a 2 and you need a 3. We know Garrett Wilson's 1, so a 2 and a 3. What combination? Free agency. We're less than 2 weeks away from the legal tampering period. Free agency, obviously. The draft. I think there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, but the Jets need 2 pass catchers at the wide receiver position. That's where I'm at. So it looks like no more than the Corey Davis rumors anymore. That's a lot more than rumors. That is some substantiated reporting there from Connor Hughes. All right, let's get into some of your comments, guys. Good morning to all of you. Again, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe on YouTube, baby, for all the latest. I will tell you a little sneak peek while we're live every day at 7:30, as we are right now, coming back up in the 3 or 4 o'clock range. It's not 100% yet, but the 3 or 4, the guest is 100%. The time may be up in the air, so just stay tuned to YouTube. If you subscribe and hit the bell notification, you'll be notified as soon as we go live, baby. But we're going to have a special guest live from the NFL Combine to talk about all the juicy Jets rumors that are happening out there in the universe, and he'll be joining our show for the very first time. This individual that is going to join our show today has never been on our show before, and I'm very much looking forward to chatting with him for the very first time. So juicy rumors to come from an individual that covers the Jets, covers the league. That's coming up later today. Make sure you guys stay tuned to that. Let's see. William says, I remember Corey making the winning catch against the Browns. Flacco was the man then. Well, it wasn't quite the winning catch, but it was a catch necessary for the winning catch to be available. Garrett Wilson made the game-winning touchdown catch, but Corey Davis had a breakaway down the right hash touchdown where the Jets had to score like instantly because of how much they were down. And then all of a sudden, the air went out of the stadium for the Browns fans. They're like, wait a second. Oh, boy. This isn't happening, is it? And Corey Davis has had some moments. Of course, the pinnacle Zach Wilson moment, point downfield, chucks it to Corey Davis. And again, for Corey, it's against his old team. So he had some moments. There's no doubt about it. The frustrating thing for me on Corey, as I hearken back to those Corey Davis Jet memories, is he would make an incredibly crazy, tough, contested catch like in the Vikings game. I'm like, whoa. And then against the Broncos, which was on the road at some other point, these are just random games during Corey Davis's Jets career, he drops a wide open pass that would have put the Jets in the red zone. These are just random plays that are coming to mind. And that I'm like, come on, man. So he just had inconsistency with catching, and that was frustrating, which maybe some Jet fans won't want him back. It wouldn't be on the 1 year, $10.5 million, give or take, that he was owed. It would be on a far lesser deal, especially coming off a year of no football. But I'm kind of interested at the idea, and Aaron Rodgers seems to like him, so that's good for me. But I'm for adding more pass catchers to the team. John Sauer, part of the Boyd Green Super Fan Club. Thanks for your contribution, sir. Partial Tyler Boyd, very consistent. Yeah, former Pitt product. He has a high floor. He's not as sexy as some of the other names, but wildly effective. Tyler Boyd should be on the Jets list for sure. Absolutely, I think. Let's see here. Melvin says we need Corey Davis back ASAP. Okay. You're on board. I love it. All right. Ant Jets 82 on YouTube says if he wants to be here, let him compete in camp. Okay. That's that'd be like what was that? Jerry Rice, like, didn't he make a comeback on a team late and he didn't make the team? I know that happened with T.O. in Seattle. I think there's a couple other examples of veteran receivers getting another whack at the pinata and then just not quite making it. So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, again, another body in here. Why not? John Sauer, can Corey Davis be trusted to stay? Once burnt, twice learnt. Wow, I've never heard that quote before. That's very nice. Be trusted to stay. I mean, if he was willing to come back at the end of last year, that must mean that whatever situation he was dealing with, we still don't have the answers to that, must have been dealt with, or else that wouldn't have been possible. So that's a sign to me. And think about it. And I don't want to speculate, but what would, like, Corey Davis was on a team with Aaron Rodgers, and he decided to walk away in late August, right before the season starts. It must have been a very serious situation because that was his best chance for a Super Bowl. That was his best chance for a productive season and all these other things, and what would have been a contract year for Corey. So it must have been very serious that to walk away. If I'm a wide receiver and I'm playing with Aaron Rodgers and I'm like a starter, it would have been very hard for me to walk away from the game considering all the benefits of that. So it sounds like, again, if this, he had talks back and forth with the Jets about a comeback, I would imagine his familial situation, whatever was going on in his life, must have been figured out last season, according to that Connor Hughes bit. And James Fitzpatrick says that I don't think he would come back if he wasn't 110% committed. Yeah, I don't know Corey Davis personally. I've never interviewed him. I've just been, through fourth and fifth walls of interacting with Corey, like social media and stuff like that, and interviews that he's doing with other people. I agree with you. I don't get the Brett Favre vibes from Corey Davis. If he's walking away, he's walking away. But can we count on him? That's also why I have him a little bit lower on the depth chart. A little bit lower, personally. William, that's another possibility on YouTube. He could wait and see, he being Corey Davis, what the roster looks like before he comes back. And maybe, we get to May-ish, and then we're like, man, we could use another guy. And Corey's like, hey, present. And he comes along. Mitch Staff on YouTube says, Davante Adams is better than Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I mean, overall, his career is better than Garrett Wilson. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's only been in the league for 2 years. But I would still say that if Davante, Mike Evans, or anybody comes here, I think they come in here understanding Garrett Wilson's the alpha. But maybe you can just have two alphas. So I don't know if that has to be some sort of like pissing contest of like, boy, Garrett's going to be mad that someone else is here. I think he'll be very happy that someone else is here. And then on a play-to-play basis, opposing defenses will have to pick their poison. Are we going after Garrett here? Are we going after Davante? Are we going after Mike Evans? Whoever the guy ends up being. So sure, is Davante Adams better than Garrett Wilson? Sure. If they both retired, Davante Adams clearly had a much better career. There's no doubt about it. But the good thing you like about Garrett is he's incredibly young, and the upside is immeasurable. And I still think Davante, for what that's worth, has plenty of gas left in the tank. Matthias, good question. Paul, is Davis still under contract? I'm pretty sure that Corey Davis is no longer under contract. I believe you're under, well, once free agency starts, I guess would technically be available. But I'm pretty sure if you retire and then your contract plays out, in this case, he had 1 year left. Now that year will expire at free agency, I'm pretty sure he'll be free to sign with any other team. I don't believe they continue to hold his rights, but I will try to 100% guarantee that. I'm like 85% sure, but I will do some more digging on that, Matthias, to give you a locked in answer. Mitch says Wilson has really proved nothing. Nothing. I mean, offensive rookie of the year, putting up 1,000 yards in arguably the worst quarterback situation in the league. I don't know. I think that's a little aggressive, Mitch, on YouTube, saying that Wilson's proved nothing. I don't think anyone's saying he's Tyreek Hill, but I think we all. But I guess let me put it this way: with Aaron Rodgers, I believe Garrett Wilson is going to have arguably the greatest single season in Jets history. So that would put him in Tyreek Hill category. I'm imagining he's going to have easily 100 plus catches, 1,300 plus yards, and double-digit touchdowns. That's my expectation for Garrett. With Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, the catches, what are we talking about? He had 95 last year, so I'm asking for 5 more with Aaron Rodgers at least, and it's going to be more than that? Okay. And then yardage, he's been hovering around 1,100 and 1,000. So I'm asking for 300 or 400 yards more, but then the floor increases on a game-to-game basis with Rodgers, so yep. And then touchdowns, it's just been a crap show with the Jets even getting to the red zone in general, let alone scoring them. So yeah, I believe Garrett Wilson's about to have a historic season, quite frankly. So I'd push back on that, on the Garrett Wilson criticism or whatever we want to call that. Ground and punt. Good morning. Please send Lakin my love. Wish him well. Yes, I reached out to him after the news came out, and he responded very quickly. Again, I've been really good pals with Lakin during our interviews on this show and things of that nature. I'm rooting for him to land on his feet. We'll see where he goes. I'm very confident he's going to land another starting job. We'll see how he does it. Since he was released, technically he could sign with any team right now, so he does not have to wait for free agency. So that is the slight benefit of getting fired, I guess. All right, let's go through a couple more here. Johnny, can we sign Tyrod as our backup quarterback? Sure, we can. The injuries are a little, he had the ribs annihilated by whoever that was, Michael Clemens or Quincy Williams or whoever smacked him. Quinn Williams, man, I can't even remember who it was. I remember Michael got him in the preseason, though. But, yeah, sure, Tyrod is on the list. My tastes are a little bit higher, the Brissetts, the Minshew's, things of that nature. But, yeah, Tyrod's a solid guy, but a little bit of injury issues. John Sauer, Jets still own rights to Davis at $10.5 million, but not guaranteed. Again, I will look into this. I don't want to go back and forth, not knowing, but I'm pretty sure they no longer. I don't think if you have 1 year left in a year, you just hold his rights forever until he returns to a game of football. I don't think so. But like I said, I will look back at that. I'll get back to you guys quickly on that, as quickly as I can. All right. Good morning. Is Rodgers injury prone? I'd say no. Again, prior to this year, my dad hates this stat, but prior to this year, Rodgers appeared in 81 of 82 games over the last 5 years, and the only game he missed was COVID. So I would say absolutely not is he injury prone. Now, you want to ask, is AVT injury prone? That's more of a debate for people because he never had injuries in college, and then the last 2 years he had these weird injuries, like a torn tricep and Achilles. That's atypical for an offensive lineman to have those kind of weird injuries. They're very fluky, like a torn ACL or this or that. You're like, ah, boy. But Rodgers, absolutely not. I'd push back on that pretty aggressively. All right. Yeah, baby. That's right. My Jet hat game is on point. This is one of my favorite hats I have. I got the Support the Troops Jets gear. I got to I'll back up the camera more so you guys can see my outfits, my fit game on a show-to-show basis. But yeah, my hat game is always on point. I'm a big Jet hat guy. Okay. Corey Davis, a lot of back and forth. Some people are for Corey Davis, some people are not. Some people are all about him coming back, some people are not. I'm for bring more bodies into the room, especially after last year where there's so much damn craziness at wide receiver. That one, give me Corey Davis. And again, in case you guys missed it, you guys can rewatch the episode. Again, this is live, but you can check it out after the fact, of course, wherever you listen to the show or watch the show. Long story short, Connor Hughes said that there were talks back and forth. This isn't Rumorville anymore. This is what Connor Hughes reported on Jake Asman's show, that there were talks back and forth between Corey Davis and the Jets last year about a comeback. And Corey Davis, under Connor Hughes' assertion, would have only come back if the Jets had a legitimate shot at the playoffs and Rodgers was coming back and all that stuff. And that was on the table, but Zach Wilson didn't basically hold down the fort long enough for that to be possible. So he didn't. But the fact that he was willing to come back last year indicates to me that he'd be willing to come back again. Well, why would he say, okay, this run only is the only time I'd be willing to come back and never again? That doesn't seem to make sense. So hopefully we get some further details from Connor Hughes on that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into Boy Green Daily. Like I said, like the video, pound it. There's 100+ people in here, so there should be 100+ likes, baby. It's easy. You guys can just roll right over to it and hit the like button on YouTube. Also, make sure you hit subscribe. Again, early this afternoon. This is February 28th. We are having a live guest from the NFL Combine talking Jets NFL juicy rumors ahead of free agency. What is the talk in Indianapolis? Make sure you guys check out that live conversation coming up in a handful of hours after my radio show. Looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. God bless, baby. See ya.